is possible. Happy ever after is what you deserve. A healthy family, a healthy society. Happy children, happy fathers, happy mothers. Panacea Ville helps you navigate the hurdles in your relationship journey. Shines the light of hope in the middle of any crisis. Help brings you sparks again, happy home again. We change the world one family at a time. We help you find stability in your marriage relationship. Panacea Ville is here for you.
I will also be calling on our host, Mrs. Nancy Oblete, to take the seat. Thank you so much. Okay, and I would like to call Mr. Francis Oblete to also take his seat. Yes.
We're going to call the next speaker, someone who is personally dear to my heart and the work that she does with couples. And we're going to, as usual, because these people, their sandals I'm not ready to touch their sandals. So we'll let you watch this empowering clip before she comes up for her section.
Relationships don't collapse all of a sudden, they unravel in stages. And while some see the damage when it is visible, this woman sees it where it begins.
Marriage is about knowing your partner and also knowing the system.
With that clarity, she enters the trenches, and so she created the Couples Repair Intelligence Program, a 12-week structured repair process that takes couples from marital strain and near collapse, build trust, and restore connection. But that is not all she serves, guiding young marriages to build their foundation and preparing and tending couples through her premarital experience before the aisle. She is a relationship coach, attachment informed practitioner, and with postgraduate training in clinical psychology, her work focuses on emotional safety, attachment healing, and relationship repair. Furthermore, she partners with organizations to foster emotionally safe and productive workplaces through relational leadership and communication training.
We are having this conversation because people have had bitter experiences.
Please give us
Decided to make their experiences rules and are now teaching these rules.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a standing ovation and a round of applause, please welcome the convener of the
So she will be taking us on the topic, transforming conflict to connection.
Thank you very much. Please don't sit, don't sit here. So I like to have fun. I usually say that I carry the bar in. When I was supposed to play, I was I don't know what I was doing, so I carried the bar. Right? And I want you to join me to play this morning. And we're going to do a simple math exercise. How many of you like maths? Let me see your hand if you like maths. No, it's not about it. Yeah! You know I love maths. And I want to teach you a fun way to interact with maths. If you're okay with it, right? So I'll drop this mic, permit me and use my voice so that I can demonstrate how we do this math together. Somebody should not teach their children at home. The math teachers come to class and do this. What is that? Everybody will love math. So let's go like this. This is one. This is one. It goes up, down, up, down. One. Two. Four. grateful for that. So today, I want to talk on transforming conflict into connection. I told people joking, I said, if one of my missions, get couples to have conflict. One of my missions is to get couples to have conflict. Because a lot of couples are not connecting as much. They don't have the kind of joy, peace, and happiness that they should have in their marriage because they are running away from conflict. A happy, fulfilling marriage is possible, is within your reach if you will learn to deal with conflict aright, not to run from it. Many times when we run from conflict, we unfortunately are also running from our partners. We are hiding. We are not being seen. Our partners don't know us. We become strangers because we fear conflict. So one of my missions is to help couples have conflict. When I do parental counseling and we start conflict, I ask a couple, what's the worst conflict you had? If I don't hear anything that looks like the worst, I give them an assignment to go and have conflict. And tell me this story, what happened, and all. Because see, love does not define your marriage, love brought you together, but what will define how fulfilling you will be in that marriage? It's not love. It's what happens in conflict. So why do people get married? They love each other. They really do love each other. Yet they keep hurting each other in the same way over and over again. If you've been married for 5 years, and on the kind of conflict you have, check them. There's a common thing in your conflict. A common thing. Whether it is a conflict about children, whether it's a conflict about who does what, or a conflict about family and in-laws in your home, beneath or underneath all that is a central thing that comes. So why does this happen? Why do we keep fighting? Why do we get to this place where we are struggling? Couple, not to hurt each other, to be happy together. And so we look at, first off, one thing we have to understand and come to terms with it in every form of relationship, in every form. Conflict is inevitable. You cannot but have conflict. Once you are relating with somebody other than yourself, someone other than yourself, you will have conflict. Because we do not see life in the same way. It's not even possible for us to see life in the same way. Do you know that even from forensic analysis of humans and how we interact in the society, this room here now, just because of the position you are seated, your experience of this summit is different. Just because of your position where you are seated, there are things that you will not see clearly, and there are other things that will be clear to you. So your experience of this hall, the ambience, how hot or cold the room is dependent on your position. So if your partner cannot stand exactly where you're standing every time, there is one conflict. One. Second, in psychology, we know that there's what is called the RAS, is behind the head, behind our brain, the base of the brain. It's called the RAS. The function of the RAS is to ensure that you don't run crazy because of the information. Now we know that we are hit by billions of information per minute. Even in this room, do you know how many information your brain is controlling? You are not even aware. First of all, every single color represented here, your brain is dealing with it. Every sound, from the click of the camera to the shh that this mic is making, everything is hitting you, right? Then we will not even talk about the feeling, the sensations your body is experiencing as well. All this is hitting you, and then your RAS has the job to select the one you are conscious of pattern. Otherwise, you will not be able to pay attention. You will be all over the place. You have disorganized thoughts. You will not be able to concentrate. Because we have an RAS, the RAS chooses not randomly. The RAS chooses from what we call your term of reference. And your term of reference is created by where you have been before, the experiences you've had, the meanings you made of those experiences, your bringing, what your formative years told you about life and about this. So the moment you are viewing him or trying to think about something, in your brain, what is happening is that your brain is going back to sort through the files. Where have we seen this before? What was the meaning derived from this thing that we have seen? And it is from that place you infer meaning to whatever you are saying. Now, because you did not grow together, because even if you grew together, you did not live in the same body, therefore you do not have the same experience, you will have conflicts. So conflicts are completely inevitable. But disconnection is the problem. So conflict is not the problem. It's disconnection. What is disconnection? I'm not talking to you because I'm not into it. Or you see it in couples where one person begins to talk about one issue and say, for the life of being this marriage, I will never talk to you about finance again. Manage your finance, I manage my own. Or about discipline and children. This is when is your turn, do it how you want to. When is my turn? Then before you know it, this couple to go to a point where they don't have anything connecting them anymore except routines that they run to keep the marriage. And that is the enemy, not the conflict. Conflict reveal, they don't create. Your conflict never creates anything. It only reveals what is revealed. If the both of you feel strongly in opposing directions of a particular thing, what the conflict is doing is to reveal that we don't see this the same way. Now, when you look at conflicts, conflicts are not your enemy. It's how we manage them. So we are talking also about repairs, like what conflicts are and how we are able to repair the damage that they cause. We will have conflicts that do not go well, that will go bad, and we are not able to fix it immediately. Yes, we would. But what do we do afterwards? Are we coming to repair, or we are coming to push everybody, like shove it in, that kind of thing, like let's bury it, let's forget about it and move on. Many times when I ask when that happened and it all went bad, how do you reconnect? You get things like, we just went silent for a couple of days and we started talking again and we thought I moved on. But that was never handled. Or some people say, no, we said sorry to each other. No apologies are big tickets out of this. Before the person now, sorry, I say sorry now, sorry. This sorry is actually saying shut up. I don't want to have this conversation. Shut up, I'm saying sorry now. What are you still talking now? You say sorry. I remember one conflict we had with my husband. Those early days, as he was saying sorry, I was getting even angry. And we ended up fighting about the sorry for like 2 hours. So we use sorry to cover rather than to say, don't understand what hurt you in this. What was the thing for you? Where did the hurt come? Is there history behind this? Why did this? Or why did you see this as that? Sometimes we want to feel like we are more sensible than our partners. Like they don't think right. So we are trying to show how wrong they are. do we do? Explain why our own is the best solution. And then there's this about saying we start explaining. Then we go and look for evidence from yesterday, today, tomorrow to explain the same thing. So we are talking over and over, and nobody is getting any headway in the conversation. People don't react to situations, they react to meaning. Your conflict is about the meaning, not about the situation. If you fight today around money, and you say, oh, money is the problem, it's because we don't have much money. I can tell you, if you're not able to resolve money issues when you don't have money, you have even bigger issues when you have money. Because the issue is not money. The issue is the meaning of what it represents. A woman shouts or cries or troubles her husband for coming late without telling her. Meaning. And he said, she's always hitting me because I come late. What is the meaning of what she's saying? He doesn't know. The meaning may be something else that is happening. So you see, don't listen to me. What's the meaning there? I don't feel valued. You are always busy. I feel unimportant. Why are you shouting? I feel unsafe. Now someone will just sit here and say, why doesn't the person say it? Honestly, do you say it? Listen, for people to be honest with their meaning, they must feel absolutely safe. And safety is not built in a day. Safety is built over time. There are things that I discuss with my husband now. And when I was talking about them years ago, I was honest. But I discussed them now in deep. But I have seen over time that you know how we were raised to do this. We were taught that we don't show up the way we are. We hide who we are because who we are will not really be acceptable. It starts from how we teach children to cover up. Nobody should see your nakedness. Then a child is excited and they just see big children don't jump like that when they are excited. You calm down. Are those etiquettes okay? Yes, for the outside world. But inside the house, are they free to do that and get understanding, even if we kind of like correct or adjust how these behaviors are expressed, but not shut down. Then we get married and these meanings become hidden. I've been in rooms with couples and they come to me and they're talking to me. Then I say, no, don't look at me, look at your partner and talk to me like that. The same thing, in the same way. Because some of them will oppose and tell me, he's here or she's here and she's listening, she's hearing me. Say, no, turn to her and say to me, can't. Why? Because they are, don't worry. Meaning, I'll come back to that. Let me follow you. So behind every reaction you see in conflict is an emotional need. So when somebody is saying, I don't feel valued, there's an emotion here. When somebody is saying, I feel unseen, there's an emotion here. And you see, especially here, we have criminalized emotion so much. And there are times that, so we have laws, right? The West, they've done the reverse, like giving emotions wings and let them ride the like we hand over the key to our emotions. We have criminalized and changed emotions and kept them locked. And we think that they still don't have power because they are locked. But what we don't know is that they become unconscious and they run our lives with even more power because we don't even know how they work. We are not even able to detect and to know how they work. So behind marriage and trying to correct, especially if you're married for to correct. Is it possible to correct? Yes, you may just say, but there's scope to correct. Now, safety. Talking about being honest, being vulnerable without fear. This is what emotional safety is. Open, honest, vulnerable without fear. So I ask you, do you feel safe in a relationship? Truly safe? To say the things that they say, and all you say, oh, you mean that I told it back on you, or to say the things you want to say and you don't go back and fight it up. I said it, I'm going to give you my name, or go back and turn it around. You know, that's what I said, I'm not that feeling. So, you really feel safe. Or defensive. Defensive is when we use strategies like withdrawal, silence. Or we just go cold, ice cold. No eye contact, no words, nothing, just cold. Or do we escalate? We keep, hey, I want you today, yes. Hey, God has revealed it to me. Now I know this is the kind of person that you are. It's all defense. Walking on eggshell. Let me know how to. Are you sure that if I do this, you'll be happy or should be sad? Hey, what do I do? Should I go? Should I go? I mean, imagine the prison that is. And all these are defensive mechanisms. They don't help. They hinder. They hold us back into unhealthy patterns that keep us from having the very thing that we so desire, which is connection with another human who sees us and values us for who we are. When there's no emotional safety, there will be emotional distance. So if I ask you about your relationship and I ask you how satisfied are you, if you answer that question, honestly, you'll be answering whether there's safety or there's distance. Because how safe are you in a relationship has really nothing to do with the side, that we have to do in our relationship. It's how you feel about the relationship. That's why it's subjective. Somebody may look at your relationship and say, this person is blessed to have this partner. Look at the partner does this, the partner does that, and then the person does this. It is only the person that experiences that knows whether the relationship is safe or not. And when there's no safety, there's disconnection, there's emotional distance. If I cannot tell you how I truly feel because I'm afraid that you do not understand, or I'm afraid that you get angry, or I'm afraid that tomorrow this will come up in a conversation that we're having and you will use it as evidence against me, then I will not connect with you in a deep way. You know, we find that usually there are two kinds of marital collapse that happens. The first is the people who collapse earlier. Most of the time they are escalated couples who fight. Now when I say fight, not necessarily physically, but who have heated arguments and all, and one day they will get up and say, you know what, it's not working. But the saddest ones are those who stay, and it is one conversation per time that they withdraw from each other. One, this thing that you did, I never put myself out there for you again, and they keep it in their mind. And tomorrow, the other one, those people who have been married for 20 years and on their 25th wedding anniversary, they announce that they are separating. And the children will say, Mommy and Daddy were not fighting. We didn't see this coming. The children are shocked to the bone. Why? Because this couple were disconnected slowly but surely. First of all, it was, we will never have a conversation about one topic. Then it became about three. Then we could sit in a room for hours and literally our mouths would begin Most because we will not speak a word to each other. No safety, disconnection. Transforming conflict to connection. How do we do it? First of all, we pause our reaction. So it's not by reacting immediately. Oftentimes when we react immediately, we react in the same old pattern. And it helps to hold the space. Then we move to naming what we really feel. And it may take practice, especially if we are not conscious of how we feel. I was working with a couple, and then I asked the woman, when this usually happens, what's happening inside? What are the feelings that you are having? And she says, oh, she's sad, she feels undervalued. And the other person said, I'm angry. But she said, no, I don't feel angry. Because I'm not sad. How can you be sad and not be angry? I don't understand. For me, sadness is great anger. What has happened? Anger has become this defense mechanism for managing sadness. So because he doesn't know how to deal with sadness, he doesn't stay sad. He transforms it immediately to anger. What that does is that it limits how much he's able to engage in happiness. Because immediately he gets anger and does his rage and starts shouting. Instead of processing sadness and understanding why I feel sad in the first place. What about this making me sad? So we want to start processing our feelings. And not just in feelings. One of the ways to help with feelings is to also know the sensations we feel. So our God is amazing the way He designed us. There is no feeling you have felt that you do not have a corresponding sensation in your body that matches the feeling. But many times we're unaware of these things, and sometimes the sensation even comes first before we begin to feel that. So for me, one of the things I can give you examples, like when I begin to feel fear, I start with my legs. Like they are not going to sit on the floor, or they are moving like shaking. That's the first signal I get that fear is coming. And sometimes it helps me to handle the fear before the fear really escalates and takes over, right? Because I know where it starts. When I'm afraid, there's a great fear. Somebody sent a private message. Look at you there, talking about what you don't know. You don't even look like a married person. I looked at the message and I laughed. I said, you should have simply asked, are you married? Do you have experience with this limitation? And I'll be able to answer you if you had asked. You know, so we are quick to attack and we do it abundance. It's because you are lying, it's because you don't care. This is how people from your village, they want to behave, not to marry. Which people should I call? Not to marry, because people from that place, this is how they behave. We want to communicate our needs, not attack. You come late and it's worrisome to me because I don't know what's happening with you at all. Can you please send me the message to inform me when you're coming with friends? Straight, easy communication. My need is that I want to be informed when you're coming late. I'm not even comfortable. I would rather that you come home early enough when the face is bright, when everybody's seeing everybody's face, before something will happen to you tomorrow. I'm not comfortable with how we spend money in this house. Can we have a plan? Can we sit and budget, or at least have some kind of structure so that we know that the future is safe for us? So are we communicating those needs, or we are attacking you like waster? The only thing you like to do is to waste money. Once you know I have money, you will bring all the needs that are in this world to just finish the money. In fact, I think you hate yourself. You really hate me. You don't want to see me have money at all. Stay in the conversation. One renowned marriage therapist, His name is John. He's one of the biggest researchers when it comes to marriages. He spent 40 years of his life researching marriage. Before him, most of the things that they used to treat marriages, like they call it treating in psychology, right, were things that were used for individual therapy because nobody really knew what was working until he started the trainings on marriage, like to really understand marriage. He used 40 years, he invested 40 years. And he says something, he says that the biggest thing that couples fight about is nothing. You know what? They don't say in the conversation. They start talking about banana, mango, sandwich. Okay, I'm not even finished. Then you bring apple, you bring before your great grandfather died, or before your great grandfather met your mother. Everything we enter this conversation. So we don't stay on the conversation enough to resolve. We shut down. Or you can just go, please. My mental health is important. You know, sometimes the way I read that, it's like our mental health is so fragile that the slightest thing to just break. It's waiting to break. It's hanging on thin rope, waiting. Okay, touch me, let me break. My mental health is important. It's just a way to be dead, not to stay on the issue and handle it. If you are getting overwhelmed, this does not say don't take a break. He says take a break by conversation and come back to the conversation. So it's not that we'll talk about this later, then 2 years later. And when I say later now, when I am ready, I will bring up the issue. Why are you hurrying to talk about this? That is not the kind of break we're talking about. It's the kind of right now I'm feeling overwhelmed, and I think if we continue to have this conversation, we might begin to say things that we are not happy about. Can you give me 20 minutes to go down? Then we'll come back to have this conversation. That's the kind of break we are talking about, right? So if you need that break, you take the break, but you stay on the conversation. If you begin to talk about one topic, the topic will not change. We will stay there and find a way out. I said a way out, not a solution. A way out, not a solution. Because that's another, let's move. I'm almost out of time. That's another big one. The goal of conflict is not to win, it's to understand and connect. So the goal of conflict is also not to solve. The goal of conflict is not to solve the problem. You don't have conflict so that you find, okay, now you are talking about this thing. What is the way forward? You have missed the point. When there's an issue, we want to correct, we want to understand. So we stay there. Why is it? Can you help me understand what makes this an issue? We stay there, we dig in. You know, if you dig in well, sometimes you don't even need a solution. Just understanding gives all of you peace and everybody moves on and there's no solution. 69% of the conflicts you have as partners don't have solution. You will not. Because we are coming, we are sitting here to ourselves. He saw you and came, and it's because he goes connection. Let's remember this understanding for a moment, remove our own lens because our lens colors our vision and see through the lens of the other person. For a moment, suspend your own judgment. I'm trying to understand this from another person's view. You know, if you think we work with drug abuse things, like people who abuse drugs. And so we say, maybe your child one day. So one day our overall head was joking with us. Maybe one day your child will also see that's you have to move from that place because drugs. People take it for different things, and if you come with that, you're not able to help them. And many of us come with that judgment to our partner. This is wrong. So how can you do this? Instead of sticking to look at it with their legs, oh, is that how you're seeing it? Oh, does it justify it wrong? No, but it gives you room to be even able to influence the person. It's sitting down there, and you know, funny enough, that's very the way that happened. We moved from there. And we're now discussing with the lady who was taking, I think it was cannabis or so. And after asking her why she was taking, that she has a mental health condition that she had known. And so she had been taking drugs, but a time came that she couldn't afford the drugs anymore to take the prescription. But she noted that when she takes cannabis, it gives her a sense of relief that the medication gives her. It's this financial constraint that sent her into cannabis. So she started taking it in small doses. But the moment she began to take it plenty, the whole thing reversed again. Now she's an addict. Now she needs help with it. But if I had come into that place with judgment, I cannot sit down to even bring it to her awareness. Let's move. Avoiding conflict of when it comes to peace. Men in the room, keeping quiet is not peace. Keeping quiet is bringing more firewood and putting under the fire. For a long time we have been told, keep quiet for peace to reign. Bros, no peace they reign when you keep quiet. No peace they reign. And see, you know the funny thing I've also discovered, when women begin to keep quiet, it's even more deadly. If a woman is invested in a relationship, she will talk. The day you note that your wife starts keeping quiet, it's okay. She will greet very well. Cross your start running. You know what your wife is doing? She's checking out in that marriage. She's checking out. That's why most of the time men are shocked when their wives are dancing. They are shocked because they say, just when we started having peace, brother, what is it you that avoiding conflict is peace? It's not. The only way to have peace is to have the conversation. The only way to have peace is to walk through that difficult conversation and come out on the other side. I think I'll stop here. My time is up. As I sit down, I want to encourage you to begin to have a different relationship with conflict. Conflict is not your enemy. It didn't come to break your home. If anything, begin to strengthen it. Imagine for instance that conflict is fire. So you could use it to cook, or you could use it to burn down a house. It's all in how we wield it and what we use it to do. So you are capable of so much more connection if you use your conflict well, or you are capable of literally burning down your family with an unskilled management system of conflict. Thank you.
Please, I think she deserves a big round of applause. So I will let you watch a short clip so that you get to understand what Panacea Ville does, the organization that Nancy Oblete and Mr. Francis Oblete run. Please, so take.
My name is Nancy Oblete. I'm the head coach of Panacea Ville International. At Panacea Ville, what drives us is to help couples have a thriving relationship, a relationship that is harmonious and also gives them the room to be accomplished in whatever endeavor they choose in the world. We do this by focusing on three major areas. First is to work with couples who have hit the road and are finding it difficult to agree on a lot of things. They hit the road and are unsure of how to turn the tides in their relationship. We help them through our intervention coaching to come back to a place of fulfillment and happiness. Then we also work with couples in their first decade to ensure that they establish the fundamental principles that will carry them through their relationship and ensure that they are happy and fulfilled. Finally, we work with intended couples that are just coming into the marriage arena to create and establish principles in their relationship so that they would have a fulfilling life together as a couple. So what are you waiting for? Join our community, begin to engage. There's a lot of learning happening here. Partner with us so that together we can make the world a better place, one family at a time.
Panacea Ville. give